Chapter 1: The Men Who Walked Away. Darian Vale died watching the backs of the men he had trusted. He knelt in the mud with a sword buried through his chest. Rain struck his armor, washing thin rivers of blood down the blackened steel. Around him, the battlefield had gone strangely quiet. Not truly quiet. Men still screamed in the distance. Horses cried beneath broken wagons. Steel clashed somewhere beyond the smoke. But none of it mattered. Only the 5 figures walking away from him mattered. Captain Orlan had served beside him for 12 years. Sergeant Ma had once carried Darian 3 miles after an ambush. Young Pell had eaten at his table. None of them looked back. Darian tried to speak, but blood filled his mouth. "Why?" The word came out as little more than a wet breath. Orlan stopped. For one foolish moment, Darian believed the captain might turn around. He believed the man would explain himself. Perhaps he would claim they had been threatened. Perhaps he would say Darian's family had been taken hostage. Instead, Orlan continued walking. "The kingdom needs a living hero," he said, "not a defeated one." The 5 men disappeared into the smoke. Darian lowered his head. He had protected them, promoted them, trusted them. That had been his final mistake. The rain grew colder. His heartbeat slowed. Once, twice. Then nothing. Darian opened his eyes. A wooden ceiling hung above him. Sunlight poured through a narrow window, illuminating dust drifting through the room. He lay beneath a thin blanket on a bed that smelled of straw and old sweat. His first breath came violently. He rolled onto his side and coughed, expecting blood to spill from his mouth. Nothing came. His chest did not contain a sword. His armor was gone. The scars covering his hands had vanished. Darian stared at his fingers. They were too thin, too smooth, too young. What in the gods' names? Pain exploded behind his eyes. Memories crashed into him. A boy named Lucien Ashbourne, 17 years old, 3rd son of a minor noble family. Weak body, no magical talent, no combat class. Expelled from the Royal Academy after losing a duel to the son of a duke. Darian gripped the sides of his head. Lucien's humiliation flooded through him. The laughter of the students, his father's cold disappointment, his brothers refusing to speak to him. The boy had returned to the family estate and swallowed a vial of sleeping poison. Darian sat motionless. "So you gave up," he whispered. He did not judge the boy. In another life, Darian might have called him weak. After dying alone in the mud, he understood that despair could defeat a person long before any blade reached them. A pale blue light appeared before his face. Darian's body moved before he could think. He threw himself from the bed, grabbed a wooden chair, and raised it like a weapon. The light followed him. Words formed inside it, soul synchronization complete. Darian narrowed his eyes. Magic? The message changed. Eligible soul detected. Military experience confirmed. Repeated betrayal trauma confirmed. Darian's grip tightened around the chair. "I do not appreciate being studied." A final message appeared. Unique trait unlocked. 10-fold growth. All experience gained will be multiplied by 10. Darian stared at the words. Then another screen opened. Name: Lucien Ashbourne. Level 1. Class: Unawakened. Strength: 4. Agility: 5. Endurance: 3. Intelligence: 8. Willpower: 14. Unique trait: 10-fold growth. Darian read the numbers twice. This body is nearly useless. New objective received. Objective: complete 10 push-ups. Standard reward: 1. Physical experience, 10-fold growth. Reward: a 10 physical experience. Darian looked down at his narrow arms. The body felt weak, but weakness was not permanent. He had trained starving recruits into royal soldiers. He had rebuilt armies after crushing defeats. He had survived winters, sieges, assassinations, and wars. 10 push-ups were nothing. Darian lowered himself to the floor. His arms began shaking after the 3rd repetition. By the 6th, sweat ran down his face. At 8, his chest struck the wooden boards. The old Darian would have been disgusted. The new Darian smiled. Pain meant the body could still be changed. 9, his arms nearly collapsed. 10, a bright sound rang inside his mind. Objective completed. 1. Physical experience gained. 10-fold growth activated. Experience multiplied by 10. 10 physical experience gained. Warmth surged through Darian's muscles. The exhaustion vanished. His breathing steadied. He pushed himself to his feet and examined his hands. A small change, almost nothing. But Darian had commanded armies long enough to understand how great victories began. One soldier, one sword, one step. A new message appeared. Physical level increased. Strength increased by 1. Endurance increased by 1. Darian slowly smiled. In his first life, he had spent decades building power while surrounded by men he believed were loyal. This time, he would build himself first. And when the world finally came for him, he would be ready. A knock sounded at the door. "Lord Lucien?" a nervous voice called. "Your brother has returned from the capital." Lucien's memories stirred. His eldest brother had not returned alone. He had brought royal soldiers with him. Darian looked toward the door. "Why is he here?" The servant hesitated. "He says you have been accused of treason." Darian's smile disappeared. He had been alive in this world for less than 10 minutes. Already someone wanted him dead.